quite understand how falling over on your back like that is supposed to make you well. But anyway, Monday night we've got a big surprise, because following my appeals last night, my genuine appeals last night on the programme, Benny Hinn has said he will come on this programme. Now, this is Monday night. I think so. This is what I believe. I think so. In the meantime, lots of faxes came in today on the Benny Hinn story last night. We told you about Benny Hinn last night. From Paul Childs, quite a denied. Well, I thank you very much for the advice. Next, one of the finest football kickers in the world, record breaker Daryl Halligan. We know he's fantastic, but can he do it blindfold? Now, Daryl Halligan admits he is no running superstar. He says it doesn't bother him too much at all, being one of the slowest wingers in rugby league, but he gets the job done, he says, and he's been doing it very well now for 8 years. I've got a special visitor here tonight, and he's sitting like that, I think, so as not to make a noise. I think you can put your hands down, Ruben, if you like. We've got a lot of family here tonight, as a matter of fact, and look over there, there's Mum, Martin, and Auntie Shirley. See? Coming to watch proceedings. That's Mum in the middle, of course, and that's quite enough. That's enough. Anyway, Daryl Halligan, he's a rugby union convert. You remember he gave up a shot at making the All Blacks, and now he's one of the most valuable players in the league. A goal-kicking genius who last weekend booted a world record. Canterbury says they cannot do without him. Tony Veitch with Daryl Halligan in Sydney.
How would Daryl Halligan describe himself as a footballer?
He gets out there and tries to do what he can do each week. He's not the fastest man in town, and kicks the odd goal.
A modest appraisal from a man whose game is built around a no-nonsense, no-fuss approach. A short-term stint in rugby league has now become a long-term career. A new 2-year contract with Canterbury will see him play out 10 years in the world's toughest competition.
I actually thought I'd go and play 3 years of league and get back across to Tasman, but as it's turned out, I headed off to Canterbury, and I've been here for 8 years now, so yeah, things have changed.
The former Waikato fullback made the switch from union to league in 1991, at a time when clubs were crying out for goal kickers.
Halligan, remarkable stuff.
If I wasn't kicking goals, North Sydney wouldn't have bought me to start with, so no, I probably wouldn't have made the switch.
It turned out to be a productive decision. In his first 4 years, he was the competition's leading point scorer. In 1992, he debuted for the Kiwis, and then 3 years later was part of Canterbury's grand final glory.
A moment of sheer delight.
But away from footy, the highlights have been just as significant. Marriage to longtime girlfriend Linda, and the joy of fatherhood with their 3 children.
Yes! I can remember when we arrived on the tarmac at Sydney Airport just after Christmas for our first season. And just as we touched down, I reached over to Linda and I said, "Home, sweet home." Linda burst into tears.
Tearing now.
While the transition from union to league was a comfortable one, being recognised as someone who can do more than just kick goals has been much harder.
Over the last couple of years, he's just improved in his defence and his attack. His involvement in the game this year has been higher than any other year that he's played. So, you know, he's you can't just weigh him up just as a goal kicker. He's a great footballer all round.
But it's hard to overlook his goal-kicking exploits. One of the game's most prolific point scorers, on Sunday he passed another milestone, booting his 26th goal in a row and breaking a world record which has stood for 20 years.
I was sort of holding my breath a little bit, but it managed to hold its line and went over.
Now, we just wanted to see how accurate Daryl Halligan is with the boot, so we've found the ultimate test. It's a blindfold. Daryl, are you feeling confident?
I don't know, I'll tell you afterwards. Chances are. Tell you what, it's bloody dark in here.
It was never a problem. 2 kicks straight between the uprights. Ah, not bad at all. Hardly surprising when you see what he does when the pressure's really on.
Fantastic kick.
At the end of 1993, Halligan left North with a year to run on his contract. He was snapped up by Canterbury, a decision which reaped immediate dividends. In his first year, he broke the club's point-scoring record, was named the competition's Winger of the Year, and considered by most to be the buy of the season. Not bad for a player who admits himself he's never going to set the footballing world on fire.
I'm not going to sidestep around four people or beat 3 or 4 on the outside swerve or something like that. But I mean, it means that I sort of have to try and be as tidy as I can with all my play.
The Halligans intend to return to New Zealand once it's time to call it quits on the career of one of the most contented men in rugby league.
Looking back, it's been great for me. I've been blessed. The game's been really, really good to me, as was rugby union.
Wonderful man, eh? So, yeah, Rachel says I've been very well behaved in the studio tonight with so many family here too. No cussing and sort of shouting and jumping up and down and swearing, which doesn't go on that often.
It's a good thing too.
Yes. What I mean, it's a good thing and well behaved. Yes, very, no, that's right. What a day of faxes it's been, though, on Benny Hinn. A day of a lot of faxes. Richard Ireland has written, I must tell you about this one. Richard Ireland has written me a dissertation, nothing less than a dissertation. Look at that, pages it goes on, all typed as well. Asking many pertinent questions, quoting much scripture, pertinent questions about spiritual matters. And among the many things which Richard writes, he says, a parrot can confess, but does a parrot believe? So should we be looking for someone that confesses and believes? Yes, we should. But how do we know? Some will say the confession is enough, but is it? Some will say that they've confessed and performed great signs and wonders. That is enough, but is it? Some would say, judge not, but should we? These are very big questions.